Hey, gorgeous. Welcome to season 3 of the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. I'm your host, Coach Kayla Smith, CEO of the Hormone Puzzle Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and pregnancy, an integrative, holistic nutritionist, doctor of natural medicine and training, creator of the Hormone Puzzle Method, an infertility warrior, 2-time boy mom, and women's health expert. This podcast is for women struggling with infertility, painful periods, terrible PMS, or really just any symptoms of hormone imbalance that they are ready to eliminate for good. Tune in weekly as we interview amazing experts in the field of women's health, breaking down those hormone walls, nerding out on nutrition, and having way too much fun. Whether you're beginning your journey or you've been struggling for years, we're going to finally help you put those pieces of your hormone puzzle back together so that you can get pregnant and eliminate those pesky symptoms for good. Not to mention, stay pregnant, have a healthy super baby, and easy postpartum. Are you ready? This season is packed with even more expert guests, sharing groundbreaking knowledge, giving you that jolt of energy that you so desperately need, sending you lots of virtual hugs, and inspiring you to take your fertility into your own hands and make that baby. Thank you all so much for tuning in and being amazing listeners. So now let's get started on your road to transformation. On today's show, we have Whitney Gingerich, who is a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and holistic fertility coach, helping women learn how to nourish, move, and rest their bodies to optimize their hormonal health and fertility. As a board-certified food and fertility nerd with a decade of experience and a knack for health humor, Whitney uses 5 pillars of fertility to create lasting change so that women struggling to conceive can bring joy and pleasure back into their lives while addressing the root cause of their health issues. Today's show, we're talking all about the hustle culture and infertility and how this plays such a pivotal role in your journey. Now, let's welcome Whitney to our show. Hey, Whitney, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, me too. So let's dive into things. Tell us a little bit more about you and how you started working with fertility, women's health, and then we'll get into some of that hustle culture that we were talking about off air.
Yes. So, my name is Whitney. I am a registered dietitian turned fertility coach. And let's see, where do we start? I used to work in weight loss for quite a long time, in the medical field. And I got into fertility when I was ready to get pregnant and realized there was zero information out there. And then also I loved working with the clients that would come to me when their doctor would advise them to lose weight for pregnancy. I'm not a fan of that recommendation, but I loved that I got to see those clients because you get to see them through pregnancy, fertility issues, all of that. And I had such a passion for it. And when it was time for me to have kids and I realized that no one was getting support, I knew this is the area that I wanted to, really dive into. And it's definitely one of those topics all day long. Cervical mucus, ovulation, nutrition. I love talking about it. And so it's just a joy to be in this space. It's the best.
I love that. Yeah, me too. That's so crazy you say that. Cause when I first started, I was helping a lot with weight loss and working with a lot of weight loss clients. And then it slowly transitioned to, I have this diagnosis. I have that. I've got this with fertility. And it just kind of grew from there. But yeah, I love it too. It's such a passion of mine. So that's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about that hustle culture that we were talking about earlier. And I feel like I can relate to this because this was me. I was type A, hustle, hustle, hustle. I'm going to fix this fertility issue. So let's talk about that. Why do you think that's so prevalent these days? And what is the whole hustle culture?
So the hustle in general, I think, for a lot of women, it's trying to succeed in a male dominated space or a male designed space. and we're trying to keep up or exceed, you know, what everybody else is doing so that we can get those promotions, so we can pay for our lifestyle, so we can be independent and have, you know, more control over our lives and the trajectory of our lives. And because of that, you know, we're putting off having children a little bit longer. So women are having babies more into their late 30s. But also the lifestyles that we're leading.
Right.
I put it this way: as we get a little bit older, our bodies get a little pickier, like the stuff that we could put up with in our early 20s. So I'm thinking in general, like when you're in college, you're doing grad school, or you're staying up late for studying for finals, and then you go to a party and you're running all the time, the things that you could get away with, the hangovers that you didn't have in your early 20s, your body after 30 is just like, girl, we're not going to be doing this anymore. And that couples with your fertility too. And so a lot of the things that we did or do to be successful in our lives, as far as our career or finances, all of these things that we've done in the past to be successful aren't necessarily the same things it's going to take to get you pregnant, because that hustle, go, your fertility, I put it this way, kind of likes a little bit of laziness, a little bit more lazy. And females, and the way our, at least in the United States, our system is designed is around a 24-hour hormone cycle. So for men, I love it. They're so simple.
Right.
Logically speaking, depends on who you're talking to, but, they operate on a 24-hour hormone cycle. So they make a lot of testosterone overnight. They wake up in the morning. They use up that testosterone throughout the day. They go to bed in the evening, and it wash, rinse, repeat. The same thing happens the next day. And so the way our work schedules are created originally is around that hormone cycle. And what we have found through finally getting some research on women is that we don't work that way. Women operate on a very different monthly cycle. And so we tend to have a different hormone spike throughout, you know, in our follicular phase, which is the first half of our cycle, and then ovulatory phase, we experience different energy levels there. And again, in your luteal phase. And so we don't have the same amount. We can't show up the same every single day all the time. We're not built that way. And it's a good thing. It's a beautiful thing, but it's just not how the culture is designed. And so we are trying to fit basically like a square into a round hole kind of thing. And so what's happening is that we're seeing the wheels fall off a little bit as we age. A lot of times the term they use is burnout. So it's where your go all the time is just not working anymore, and your body is shutting down, and it impacts our fertility in a very serious way, especially fertility can be impacted whether you are, you know, a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home person, or, you know, a business person or an entrepreneur. It's not necessarily specific to a career choice or your energy, but we do know that a lot of the, what's the word? Like overworking tends to affect fertility in a negative way.
For sure. And I love this topic because we talk about that a lot on the show. We talk about that women are cyclical, and we have a cyclical nature to us, which correlates to cycle syncing, cycle optimizing, eating certain foods during our cycle, doing certain activities. And it relates to this too. You know, you can't work the same every single day that you do if you were a man, that you would do if you were a man. So I love that.
We feel guilty when we can't. Like, exactly. You're like, I could do this last week. I was running 5 miles. I was running projects. I was doing all of this. Why this week? Why can't I do it this week? And it's just, we don't have the same hormone cycles. It's just not.
Exactly. And that affects our fertility, which leads me into my next topic in question is, you know, then this puts stress on us, and we see the burnout happening. We see the adrenal fatigue happening. We see the hormones off, all of it. So let's talk about that. How does stress really impact all of this?
So when it comes to the actual stress stuff, and I think that this is such a nuanced topic too, because it's triggering when someone's like, don't stress and you'll get pregnant. Like that, right? I just want to be clear. Anybody who's listening to this, that is not what we're talking about. Right. That's not the advice we're giving. That advice is terrible and very
exactly. We're like, shut up. I'm not stressed. Okay.
And then it's just a cycle because that stresses you out more. It's like when you can't sleep and you're just sitting there staring at the ceiling and you're like, I need to sleep. I know I need to sleep. I have 4 hours left. I have to fall asleep. And you just keep waking yourself up with that thought. This is very similar when it comes to fertility. Fertility and stress are inevitable. Like, well, I shouldn't say that. Fertility struggles and stress are inevitable. It's very hard to help one or the other. But what we know is that when you are chronically stressed, and that's really what we're talking about here, it is not like, oh, I have a project due tomorrow and I have to get it done. It's, I have a project due tomorrow and the mortgage is due, and then my mother-in-law needs help with this and I have to make sure I get something with the contractors and that other person's calling me. It's the chronic stress over the course of months or years that really takes the toll on your body. So I want to make sure everybody knows this is not something that happens overnight. It's not one stressful week. It's a pandemic on top of everything else you've been doing. That kind of stuff that really raises your initially, at least it raises your cortisol. And cortisol is a great hormone. We need it. It gets us out of bed in the morning. It helps us function. But when we have chronically elevated levels of cortisol in our system, it increases our estrogen. It increases something called aromatase, which then turns your testosterone into estrogen. And so that excess estrogen is problematic. It can also lower your GnRH, gonadotropin releasing hormone, which is also a big issue. And then ultimately what we see with ovulation and progesterone is that it lowers your LH, your luteinizing hormone. And so it can actually impact, it's not like a direct impact where you're stressed and your ovulation is already shot. It's over the course of months and years where these hormone alterations can actually impact your chances of getting pregnant because you need to ovulate and make progesterone to get pregnant. And so it's
yes, it is. It is crazy. Yeah. And so is there things that we can do first, before we talk about that, what we can do to manage this, what are some symptoms, because like you were saying, it's not just like a stressful week or it's not a stressful event. It's this over the long haul. So is there symptoms that might start popping up that will be like, okay, she said this was going to happen. This is what the symptom I'm seeing. And this is correlated to, long bouts of stress, chronic stress.
So I love using the cycle as a measure of health. Your period, I picture it like a printout every month of like how your body is doing, the status. And so if you're sick, if you're really stressed, if you are depleted in your nutrients, it can impact your period. And so, there's a couple different things with your period to take a look at that could indicate, and it's not definite. Obviously, like there's a lot of room for interpretation, but it could indicate that some chronic issues are going on. Irregular cycles are pretty common. Missing cycles where you'll be like, oh, just didn't get a period this month. And you're like, what the hell?
Right? No, you can cuss. It's fine. Yeah. And sometimes you're like, yes, I didn't get a period, but I try to stress to people in this show, like your period is a vital sign. You have to get a period every month. It's part of it. It doesn't have to be bad. It doesn't have to be terrible, but you got to have one.
I remember in high school, I had a friend that only got a period maybe once every 4 months. And I thought it was the best thing ever. I was like, you're so lucky. I was wrong.
Not so much.
So irregular cycles is very common. Specifically with a bleed, tail and brown bleeding is common with low progesterone levels, and that can be a sign of chronic stress, or very short luteal phases. So from the time of ovulation until you get your period, if your progesterone production isn't adequate, you can experience a really short luteal phase, which obviously can affect your chances of getting pregnant. But also, if you're not trying to get pregnant, it can also just be hard for your system. Nobody wants to get their period like every 12 days.
No.
Those are some of the period things I look at. But, just energy wise, when you're experiencing some burnout, there are a couple different, it can manifest in many different ways. There's tired and wired, where you are exhausted and just cannot get your brain to stop. And it is very, very frustrating. The feeling of never sleeping enough is also another common one, where you'll get 10 hours of sleep on a weekend. You wake up and you're just still dragging ass. It's not a good time. And also brain fog accompanies a lot of this too, because your brain is just, you don't have the cortisol you need to get your body going, or it's getting too much. And so those are just some just on the surface things to look for that could indicate that something's going on. Again, not definite, but it's just something to look into.
Gotcha. And I love that you say that. I always say our period is our body's report card, and we need to be tracking that. We need to be paying attention to it. And it's our body's way of saying like, hey, something is wrong here. Something could be wrong here. So pay attention for sure.
Absolutely. For sure. I get super nerdy about it. Like when I get sick, I'm like, what's my period going to do this month?
Right.
I actually had, unfortunately, I did come down with COVID towards the beginning of the pandemic. My body was just like, we are not going to get pregnant this month. I think I had a 20-day cycle that month. It was just like, no.
I know I've seen that a lot where, clients have gotten COVID. I got COVID myself, and it just is really messing with the cycle. It's crazy, but it makes sense. I mean, your immune system is on high alert because you have this virus in you. And so it's going to not nope, we're not getting pregnant. We're not going to bring a baby into this situation. Not doing anything like that. No.
It's a hot mess right now.
Right. Yeah. Oh, that could be a whole nother conversation.
Oh, yeah,
my COVID was awful. Awful. So let's talk about tangible steps. So what do we do? We're experiencing some of these symptoms. We're like, I know I'm under chronic stress. I'm burnout. My adrenals are taxed. Like, what do we do? Is there practical things we can do?
There are, and I'm a doer. We were just talking about being type A kind of people. I like tips. I like a plan. And if someone tells me not to stress or just be happy, it does the exact opposite. So I like things to focus on instead. One of my first ones is delegate tasks. If you have things on your plate that you do not like doing, but you haven't, given them to someone else or haven't asked for help, ask for help. This is super, super important. And some women I'll be the first to say, I don't like doing it. Sometimes I told one of my friends, even just this past weekend, like sometimes it takes me more energy, at least initially, to ask for help and teach someone how to do it than it is just for me to do it. But then I suffer in the long run. And this can be something at work. It can be like hiring assistants or asking for assistance, but it also works at home too. Mm-hmm. So asking your partner for help, cooking meals and cleaning, and, you need time to take care of yourself. If you're a female and you're trying to get pregnant, you're kind of the priority, like you're the vessel. And so you got to make sure that you are well taken care of first. And so if that means that your partner helps make dinner a few times a month, I was going to say a few times a day. Then I was going to say weeks, and then it meant a week. If a couple times a month is not going to help that much.
Right.
Grocery shopping, ordering groceries instead of, going out to the grocery store. If it's annoying for you or taking time away from the things you want to be doing, see if there's anything you can take off of your plate. My next one is probably one of my favorites, and anybody who knows me knows that this is one of my favorite things to do. Say no.
Yeah.
Say no. If someone asks you to host a baby shower and you're not looking forward to it, or it's triggering for you, or if it's a cookout you don't want to be going to, we're hitting the summer months. There's going to be a lot of barbecues, a lot of get-togethers. If it's not something that brings you joy, you can say no, and it doesn't have to be no forever. It could just be no for now. Like I said, you're in a season or a period of time where your body is the priority. You're the priority. And so prioritizing yourself is there. Mm-hmm. So if you want to say no, you have permission to do
it. Yes. I love it. I feel like so many of us too, type A's, we can't say no. It's so hard for us. It's so hard for me to say no. And I have to ask for help. Like that's a big one. Like we have to ask for help because it's so needed.
It is needed. And I when I was starting my business, I felt like I had to do it all, because if I asked for help, that was either failing or, I haven't earned it. Basically, I haven't earned the help or the right to ask for support. Mm-hmm. And it took me years to undo what I did.
Yep.
And so now I'm telling everybody, like, you don't want to don't be me. Learn from me. Don't be me. And so asking for support, it does not mean you're weak. And this also is included with the team of people that you hire to help you on this journey too. It does not mean that you are not capable. Doesn't mean that you are not smart. It doesn't mean you are broken. It just means that you're prioritizing and asking for support in areas that you aren't an expert in. So I think about it this way. I'm redoing my website right now. It's about to go live, and I hired a designer this time. I pieced it together the first time, and it took me weeks to do what she did in 2 days. And the time and money I have saved asking for support. And I'm looking back and I'm like, why didn't I do that sooner? That was so dumb. But at the time, it felt very real that I needed to do that. And I think about that with fertility all the time, because we all try and do it ourselves. Like, we're reading the articles, we're listening to the podcast, we are, doing all of the things. I can't even count them. There's so many, but
right.
All of it on your own. And it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to use the expertise of people who have, walked through it and can do all that stuff for you. I love that. I love that there are experts.
Yes. I love that too. And that's why it's so important. Another thing we talk about a lot is why you want to hire somebody, a fertility coach, a nutritionist, a dietitian, a guide to help you, because we've been there and we've helped thousands of other people. So something that we can help you with in 2 days might take you 2 months of research. Yeah. So it's like your time is valuable. That's why it's so important.
That's what it is. You are valuable. Your time is valuable. You do not need to, and it's not a waste learning about fertility by any means.
Right.
But I think trying to learn a new language and decipher all of that stuff, it is really, it's a whole degree. It's a whole bachelor's degree, guys. It's the whole thing.
Right. I love it. Well, we're going to take a short break. We're going to hear a word from our sponsors. We're going to come back and talk practical tips and talk about your 5 pillars of fertility health. So we'll be right back. Hey y'all, it's Coach Kayla here. I hope you are loving this episode as much as I am. We will be back in just a minute, but first, a word from our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Hormone P.U.Z.Z.L.E Society, a women's health hub for fertility, hormones, and the business of coaching. Whether you're struggling to get pregnant with pesky hormone symptoms, or you're working to build a career in the fertility and women's health space, we have you covered. Visit our website at www.coachkayla.com to learn more on how we can help you. Text the keyword fertility to 615-257-8855 for your free fertility meal plan. Hey, Whitney, welcome back.
Thank you for having me again. Yes. We're coming off of a break. Hi, guys.
So let's talk about your 5 pillars of fertility health. What are those? Can you tell us just briefly?
Yes. So originally I had called myself a fertility dietitian. That's kind of how I identified. And over time, I realized that was not adequate enough.
Right.
Because food is such an important part of fertility, but it is not the only part. And so I kind of took a look at the areas that I support clients with that I really feel make the biggest impact, and the things actually we have control over. I'm not a medication expert. I'm not a prescription expert. I don't think most people who are, experienced in the field. What am I trying to say? I don't think most people in the audience are going to be prescribers. And so it's nice to focus on the things that you have control over and not just the physician. And so I narrowed it down into what I call my 5 pillars of fertility. So food is obviously on there, food and beverages, but mindset, movement, stress, and sleep. I categorize them in kind of the same thing, and then supplements. And so trying to hit on all of those different areas that can make sure that, we're working on ovulation, we're working on consistent cycles, pain-free periods, egg quality, all of those beautiful things that can support fertility. So that's my 5 pillars.
I love that. And that's kind of what I did with my hormone puzzle method is I was like, I want something you can focus on that can give you like practical things. Like I'm a doer too, just like what you said. So I love that, and it's so important. It's not just food. It's all of it, mind, body, and spirit.
Absolutely. And I try really hard because initially when I was talking about food and fertility, they're like, yeah, but I followed this diet and it didn't work. And there's no one thing that creates or contributes to fertility problems. It is a whole system issue. And so supporting it with a whole system approach made so much more sense to me. Mm-hmm. And so that's how the transition happened with the 5 pillars and being a fertility coach.
I love it. I love it. Since you are a dietitian though, we have to touch on food and nutrition. So what is maybe, and like we said earlier, everybody's different. Every diet is different, but do you have like one overall kind of theme, whole food, or this approach or that approach? Can we talk about that?
I would say, because I worked in the weight loss space for such a long time, I do have a bit of a different approach when it comes to food, because I try to take into account the mental aspect of it too. Mm-hmm. So it is really, really easy when you get into the fertility space to go balls to the wall and start restricting everything. I'm really good at that. I'm pretty sure any type A, you tell us what to do, we're going to do it, and we're going to do it better than everybody else.
Right.
And so we take that kind of approach when it comes to fertility. And before you know it, you cut out all the gluten and the nightshades and the sugar and the alcohol and the caffeine and all of these different aspects. And the one thing we don't have control over there's a couple things, but the biggest aspect of fertility is we don't control when it's going to happen. We don't know how long it's going to take you to get pregnant. And so it could be years that you have cut out all of these things. Mm-hmm. And your life is still very important. Your experiences are important, whether you're trying to conceive or not. And so I try and take into account those aspects. Mm-hmm. And so if I had to say like an overarching theme of my work is inclusion versus exclusion. Mm-hmm. So trying to include more of the fertility supporting foods rather than trying to take away all of the quote unquote bad things, because that can get really depressing and isolating and make this process a lot harder. And so it's never a perfect system, but trying to find a balance between those things is my primary goal. And I think coming at it from, okay, how can I add things to this meal rather than what do I need to take away from it? Mm-hmm. That's what I do.
I love that. And that's very similar to what we talk about here is, you get to eat all these amazing foods. And if you're eating 80% whole foods, give 20% to fun, to feeding your soul, to eating your favorite chocolate cake or that cookie that you love or whatever it is.
Cookies. You can't.
Yes.
I had a conversation with my friend about this weekend. Like chocolate chip cookies are my thing. Cake was her thing. It's just life is very short to avoid all of that.
Exactly. Cupcakes are my thing. I love it.
Hand in hand.
Love it. Amazing. So let's talk about, we talked a little bit about some tips we could do to kind of manage some of our stress and things, but what is your thoughts on meditation? Are you for it, against it? What do you think about that?
I am for it 100%. Well, and meditation is one of the very few things that has like really solid research to back it up to say that this really does make an impact on your health. And so I definitely think it's amazing. Am I the best at it? No, I'm not.
Right. That's why they call it a practice.
Yes, exactly. Practice. Every day I'm like 10, 15 minutes hitting it. And then the next, I don't see the meditation mat for another month. It's an amazing practice. And I think it is because it's easy. I don't want to say easy. I think it's easy to let go of that, of prioritizing. I put myself in that category. And kind of especially as someone who is more of a type A person, like I like to jump into work. I'm answering emails. I'm going through. It's very easy to put off and prioritizing. Actually, that was one of the things I was going to add to the like say no and delegate, prioritizing yourself and prioritizing your time. And I love meditation for that. And I should actually, when we get off this call, I should probably do that.
I love it. I know. You know what? I've talked about this a little on this show, but what I've started doing recently, I'm the same, like type A, like hard for me to stop, hard for me to shut my brain down. But I got a brain tap recently where it puts different frequencies into your eyes and into your ears. And so it's like a guided meditation in your ears and then all these light frequencies on your eyes, but it's allowed me to be able to sit and focus on that. So then I can meditate through it.
It's down right now.
Yes. Yes. I love it. Well, Whitney, I could talk to you all day, but we do have to close out. So tell us where we can find you. Where can we learn more about working with you?
You can find me on all the social media platforms, TikTok and Instagram primarily at The Fertility Nut. And my website is thefertilitynut.com. And if you go there, I have a free find your too many F's,
right?
Find your fertile path quiz where you can get a personalized quick start plan delivered to your inbox. And so if you're kind of looking for a way to get started, that's I love it. I love fun quizzes. I'm a sucker for a good quiz. So
amazing. I love it. We'll have all that in the show notes, so it'll be really easy to find you and to take that quiz. That sounds amazing. So before we close out, let us know. Well, first, thank you for being here. It's been so fun to talk to you. Yes. And I would love to hear just any words of advice, any final thought you want to leave us with.
If I have any kind of advice, it's just you aren't broken. You haven't done anything wrong. It could be that your body just needs some extra support in these areas, and it doesn't make it bad or, worse. It's just every body is different, and yours might be one that lovingly, just like mine, needs a little bit more. It's a bit more high maintenance. Let's put it that way.
I love it. Yes. Yes. Amazing. Well, thanks again for being here. It was so fun getting to know you.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
And thank you, ladies, for listening to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Until next time. Bye. Hey, hang on just 1 second before you go. I want to make sure that you are aware of all of the amazing free resources that I have for you on my website at coachkayla.com. From a fertility meal plan, a cycle syncing quick start guide, a holistic healing cookbook, as well as master classes, blog posts by me and some amazing experts in the fields of fertility, hormones, and nutrition. So many wonderful resources that will help you on your journey. And I wish there had been something like this when I was going through my 2 years of infertility, but there just wasn't. And so that's why I decided to create all of this for you. So make sure that you go and check it out and you take advantage of this plethora of support that I have provided for you. And spoiler alert, these were some of the same tricks and the same foods that I used to get myself pregnant, not once, but twice, even after my doctors said that I couldn't. So I know that these things work. Make sure you take advantage of that. And I cannot wait for you to be my next success story. So thanks, love. See you soon. Thanks for tuning in today to the Hormone Puzzle Podcast. Check out the show notes for today's episode at coachkayla.com. If you like what you hear, please subscribe and leave a review. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you next week.